Hey, I'm here with my friend Richard. I've nabbed him on a hangout. He was talking to me about what research he was in. So what research were you doing, Richard?
Parthenogenesis.
And can you explain what that is?
Parthenogenesis.
Yes, I know.
It's virgin birth.
It's virgin birth. Well, it mostly happens with reptiles, birds, and plant life. Like anything that's a female can have a child without fertilization. It's, partho means virgin, and no genesis means life. Genesis means life, or birth, or whatever.
So, Richard sent me this video, and what it is we're going to play a little tiny bit of it, but it comes from this channel here, and there you go, and the channel name is Marguerite. I can't read it, it's too small and it's too late at night. There's her channel there, name of the video if you want to check it. Anyway, on with the video, then back to Richard.
Yozo of Seven Sisters Mystery School, and I'm here with Den Poitras, and he's also an author of a book called Parthenogenesis. And tell me the subtitle again.
Right, yeah, Parthenogenesis, women's long-lost ability to self-conceive.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah, humbly put. And Den contacted me when you had written the article version,
right,
which has now kind of been around the world. Many
chills over my whole body and tears in my eyes. It was just before I launched the article. I wanted to get one more search off of Google about parthenogenesis, and your interview came up. It was an hour and a half long, and it was about your book, your first book, The Cult of Divine Birth in Ancient Greece. And I just couldn't believe what I saw and heard. And because at that point it had been 40 years that I basically had been alone with whatever information I had gathered, including a very personal story about a woman that was 6 feet 2 inches tall that had fasted without solid food for 2.5 years and conceived and delivered a baby. And so, anyway, it's in my book.
Yeah, because she had self-conceived,
right,
and she had not necessarily planned
exactly,
or known even really what was happening to her. And that is a very, very compelling story that you write about. And unfortunately, the child was born with some issues, and then it died 3 months later.
Right.
But you have been a really outspoken advocate for the possibility of women to self-conceive. Now, when we're talking about this, we're not talking about something to do away with men or leave out men. We're talking about what appears to be emerging as an alternative reproductive possibility for women. This is talked about in various ancient cultures. I think in Melanesia, there's a culture that talks about there being, two different ways. And Delbert Blair, who really is an extraordinary researcher, an African-American man who crossed over a while ago, he was really onto this. And I think he was had an encyclopedic mind. He'd probably done a lot of this research. And he was a firm advocate for the fact that women could either self-conceive or they could conceive through a man. So again, this is not to create a gender war or anything like that. It's simply to show us what are the other possibilities for women's conception and why might they be used, under what circumstances.
But there's a guy by the name of Dean Porteous, who really wrote a book about it, and I haven't got the book yet. I just ordered it today, and I just really got into the research last night and this morning. Kind of watched a little bit of stuff and did some research online, just not YouTube, but like doing paper research and stuff like that. And it's a very interesting thing that women can have children without fertilization from a male. And it's really a thing. It's not just in the Bible or Buddha's mother give birth to him, being a virgin. It's a real thing that's really happening. In 1995, there was a document written by, I can't remember the scientist's name. Like I said, I wish I had my computer, and Wi-Fi, so I'll be able to give you more details. But there was a scientist that, or a lady that had a child that was born a male, but every blood sample or urine sample showed that he was a female. Like, he didn't have any female traits. He was a male boy, but he had female in him. Like, he didn't have the 2 chromosomes that you have when you give birth from a fertilized egg. He only had 1 chromosome, which was female, but he was a male. And it's a document. I can send you the stuff later about it, but it's happened in like Polynesian and all kinds of other places. Actually, I came across Josh Stone had a really short video, and he just kept saying Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. And I just was like, well, what is this word? So I started looking it up on Wikipedia and just Googling the word and finding out what more it was about. And so I started looking up videos about it, see if I could find any videos that somebody had said about it. And I came across this guy named Dean who wrote a book about it in the 70s. And another person I'm fixing to look up is his name is Gilbert Blair. And I just heard about him today, so I haven't got any research material on him yet. And he was talking about that in the 60s and stuff, how they've documented virgin births, after Christ or whatever and stuff, because the thing that's going on in the world now is it's mostly male dominated.
Sorry, we've got a bit of time, a little. I've been telling everybody that we don't have time delay, but
What did you say, Karen?
what's your take on it then?
I believe it's real. It's just I believe it's real. It's just the woman has to be separated from any males to be able to do something like this. Like when the Amazons back in really old days. I don't know the timeline. Like I said, I wish I had my computer. I just don't have any information for you in front of me to give you. I'm just going off the top of my head. The Amazons were known to give birth to only females to make more Amazon. And, it was really real that they had Amazon tribes out there that would give birth to only females. But a small occasion that there was a guy called the Peacemaker in the Indian literature that was...
Sorry, we're a little bit time delay, but that sounds like when we were being made. We wondered how we got here and what it's all about. If they're making females and making males, the people were making the people.
Like I said, the Christian religion has really not demonized the woman, but put her below the man. So there's all the churches rising the man above the woman, which back before the church was ever around, the woman was above the man. Like all the tribes have always worshipped the woman because she was the giver of life. Yes, I do believe the church ruined it. Were worshipped. Yeah, I think the church ruined that feminine energy that really was around before the male, the dominant energy was out there. And like I said, the parthenogenesis is a real phenomenon, and it's not very much in women. The they say it's 1 in 1 billion of a chance that a woman can get pregnant without a male, but she has to be separate from a male to not have, intercourse with them to be able to do it. If she has a high calcium level, she can fertilize her own egg, or well, I don't guess you would consider it fertilization. It would just be, she would have an egg and it would develop. That's very interesting research. I'm definitely gonna have to send you some stuff about it. I'm making a playlist on a couple of videos, or about 6 or 7 videos I've already watched about it. Oh, I believe it's true for sure. I definitely believe it's true. Like I said, reptiles, birds, and bees can do it, and ants can do it. They can change they can have birth. Like a female bird can have eggs without fertilization. A snake in captivity can have its own babies if it's separated from any males around. It will give birth to its own lizard or snakes. And Komodo dragons, if they're on an island by themselves, they will give birth to a male, which they will have sex with the male later to fertilize the other eggs and stuff. But it's been shown that they have Komodo dragons being separated from other Komodo dragons, giving birth to their own male eggs. It's a true phenomenon in lizards, birds, reptiles, and all that. And in women, they've had reports about it. Like I said, I've done a few documentary reports about or research about it, and it's really a real thing. It's blowing my mind about this. You're gonna be amazed. I'm gonna send you some videos. I'm gonna send you a playlist of what I've been. Yeah, you're getting.
Oh, it sounds like creation, doesn't it? It sounds like the. Sorry, we have got a tiny bit of time delay. The rebirth thing. It sounds like we're all.
That's fine.
Like we're not machines exactly, but it sounds more like that the reproductive thing. If we were making females over there and making males over there.
Yeah, like I said, if you're separated, if a woman would be on an island by herself, she could have her own child without any interference of a man. If she was separated from a man, it's a true thing. Ooh, I'm sweating. I just wish you would let me have more research time to gather. I just have a lot of research. My mind is so full of stuff, and during all this hurricane stuff, I've been doing a lot of reading, and I have like a collection of books I've been collecting for the past few months, and I've been going through a lot of books lately. that was the infancy of I think it's called the infancy of Thomas. It's whenever Jesus was a baby. Thomas was one of the disciples, and he during the Sabbath or something like that, he was playing, and he brought they brought him a bird, and he brought it to life, and stuff like that. You caught me off guard with this one. But he has also killed a child, and he killed an old man before. Like I said, this is the Gospel of Thomas, the infancy Gospel of Thomas. That's the name of it. That's an interesting read right there. It's in the Apocryphal writings. The Apocryphal writings aren't a lot. Well, they say once he resurrected, they said that he went to India and hung out with the Buddhists and stuff like that, and they still have a place somewhere in China. I think it might be China, it might be Tibet. Yes, China. That they say that he was buried there, that he died in China, and they have a mausoleum, I guess you would call it, where he's buried. They claim it. I've only done a little research on that part, but they swear that it was Jesus. It was It was not a Caucasian. Do what? After he died, that's when they say that he went to China, and that's. Oh, when he was a little boy. Like I said, the Gospel of Thomas. If you just read it, anybody reads the Gospel of Thomas, you can find out all the information that you want to know about that. But like I said, it's off the top of my head. I'm just trying to remember some of the stuff, and that was whenever he was young. That was some of the stuff that one of the disciples wasn't added into the Bible. Thomas was one of the disciples that was helped raising him. or wrote about his infancy or whatever, whenever he was young. He was crucified. I think that's what. Well, I think you might be mixing up this stuff, though. I don't think he was during the infancy. He was with his parents, but also with Thomas. Thomas was with them to be able to write about his life whenever he was an infant. But whenever he went to the Buddhism or to China or whatever, it's whenever he was crucified and he was raised or whatever from the dead or whatever. That's when he left to go to China. It wasn't. Remember about going off is just whenever he left after he was resurrected. I don't know what you're talking about there. The only thing is about the infancy of the Gospel of Thomas was whenever he was a child, and he didn't go off anywhere. He was just a child, and then once he was through his childhood, then he became in his 30s or whatever. Following a female god. I don't think you should be following a male god. This is my personal opinion. I think the female goddess would bring. I think the females bring life. That's plain and simple. I mean, there's no male that can bring a life to anything. If they're saying this big, sky god brought life, I don't believe that at all. I think a female has brought life. There's only a female can bring life. No male can ever bring life. That's why I think we're just following the wrong God. Well, I found my feminine side. Let's just say that. I'm not gay or nothing like that. I know my feminine side now. I know there's something about women that are. Yeah, I just think there's more important things about women that need to be known than this sky god father or whatever. I think it's a woman. It has to be a woman. There's no other choice of bringing life. I mean, it's the people who I like people who are on the fringe of theories, and that's what I like to listen to. And the people who, scoff at, other people's stuff. I like to listen to them because there are some theories that connect with some of the stuff I've researched before, and it all just comes around. I said, when people just don't know about Lilith, and Lilith was part of the Genesis story, but she was taken out of it. Her and Adam were the very first, male and female. It wasn't Eve. Why would you need to take a rib from a man if you've already created a woman and a man from dust and water, and breath of life? Why would you need to take a rib? Exactly. I mean, incest has always been throughout history in any of the religions or, Egyptian time. There's always been some kind of, intermarriage or something like that throughout time. I don't like it. It's nothing I would ever think about doing, but it's there. Just nobody wants to look at it. It's just that's what I don't understand, and I've questioned a few scholars about it. Why would they need to take a rib from a man? If you've already breathed breath of life into a man and a woman, Adam and Lilith, why would you need to take a rib from a man? That means he is part of Eve, not separate like Adam and Lilith were. Definitely was. And I definitely believe that Eden was in Egypt. I mean, all the rivers that they talk about in the Bible are the rivers in Egypt, plain and simple. And Egypt was a flourishing, beautiful landscape back then. Egypt and Eden in Egypt. Do I? I kind of agree with that. I mean, if you really look at some of the history and stuff, there was different types of pillars there. There was Corinthian style pillars, there's the Dohegan style pillars, and I think it's Ion or Icon style. There's different pillars made throughout the history, where Corinthian style was the Roman style, and then there was two other ones before the Roman style was made, which is the Dohedron, I can't think of the name of it. Like I said, you caught me off guard with a lot of this stuff. But there's two other pillars that were made before the Corinthian style. The Corinthian style is all Roman, Roman style. Like I said, if you look at the pillars, if you research anything about pillars, there's different ones throughout history. Like it got better as it went on. Romans made the better Corinthian style. Yeah, well, the 14th and 15th century. Yeah, the 14th and 15th century was all Gothic style architecture, if you think about it, So I don't think that church that burnt down was that old. I think it was in the 14th and 15th because it was more of a Gothic style. If you look at the style of build throughout history, there's different types of buildings or architecture throughout history. And like I was saying about the pillars, there's older pillars than the Corinthian style pillars. If you look at the Corinthian style, they're the most elaborate ones. But there's also two older pillars that were built before Corinthian style came out. But there's a really good book by Crinsley Graves called The World's 16 Crucified Saviors. And there's 16 other crucified people. Quetzalcoatl of Mexico, Mithra of Persia, Ulysses of Celtic Druids. They were all crucified. So before the Jesus story was ever written, there were other crucified saviors. In India there was Krishna. It was before Jesus. I mean, there's just so much research out there if people just look into it and have an open mind about other things that could be possible. Yeah, some of it's written on walls, some of it's written. If you really want to know history, you got to read it. You can't just look at a YouTube video. Like I said, I mean, if you think about Mithra of Persia, I mean, he was born on December 25th. So if you're celebrating Christmas, you're celebrating Mithra. That's just obvious. I mean, it's history written. So Jesus didn't, die on the 25th or nothing like that, or born on the 25th, whatever it was. He was born in July. If you really look at the history. Or they say September. Sometimes they say July, sometimes they say September. It just depends on what you want to read and, what you put your mind to, If you, like I said, books, hard copies, or, ancient walls or anything like that tell stories. And if you really look into that, there's where your history is. It's not on a YouTube video or Wikipedia, You got to do more digging. You can't just go with the first thing you see and think it's true. You have to keep questioning the research that you do, and then you'll find more of the truth. Like I said, there is a lot of the history of the woman dominant, removing them and stuff like that. So we've been doing a lot of chainsaw work. I was scared to death. What's wrong with me? I hear you. Yes, I do. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I can't help it. Like I said, we're just going to have to wait till I have better internet service. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? I can hear you.
That's my iPad not charged. My iPad's not charged. I've called Richard back on my iPad and I hope my iPad doesn't run out. But very quickly, tell us the story about the dolphin.
There was in the newspaper we read that there was a dolphin found 30 miles inland after this Hurricane Laura hit. When was it? Last month. The 27th would be a full month to hit.
The dolphin was lucky then. The dolphin was lucky then.
Again?
The dolphin was lucky then.
Yeah, definitely lucky. But like I said, it was a long ways from the ocean for the dolphin.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're all right. It made you feel a bit depressed without electricity, though, didn't it? You were really upset last week
Oh yeah,
when I spoke
it's
to you.
rough. It's rough.
I know, it's bad enough. We've had all that lockdown and everything, and then you nearly lose your house.
Yeah.
And your life.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, you're a hero, Richard.
Oh yeah, I'm happy about that. Get to hang out with my friend.
Yeah, I said we've known each other quite a while. I don't know if you heard that before, because it was cutting out a little bit, the recording. But yeah, Richard's one of my first Flat Earth friends and Sun and Moon, what do you call it, members, aren't you, Richard?
Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes we do have some deep conversations, don't we?
Yeah, when I'm not knowing I'm being recorded.
Yeah, Richard didn't ask for this today, but I've recorded him. Sorry, Richard. You know I love you.
You don't have to apologize for nothing. I love you too.
Well, I'm glad that you're all right, and I hope there's no more hurricanes come, because yeah, they're not nice hurricanes. And thank you very much for that insight. You've given me the name. I've written it down, and that's what I'll call this video. I'll call it that.
Cool.
And yeah, thanks very much for sharing, even if you didn't want to.
Like I said, I don't mind. You're always welcome in my life.
Yeah. Oh, Richard, you're such a sweetie pie. Yeah. It's good to have you on Sun and Moon, being one of the oldest.
Well, I do appreciate you inviting me in Sun and Moon.
You're a good mod. You've been a good mod over the years, Richard.
Well, thank you.
You've had to chase me around on a few channels as they keep deleting me.
At least you keep me in touch with you, though.
Yeah, we stay in touch. I stay in touch with a few people. You're one of them.
Well, I'm privileged.
And you've always got some, like, extra homework for me to do, haven't you, Richard, by watching your videos?
Yeah, I like to send you stuff that you need to research.
Out of the box, out of the hat, whatever the expression is.
Outside the box.
Yeah, I think what it is when you've researched Flat Earth and you know you can't go much further really because we need someone else to help us now because we don't know enough. You go on to other things, don't you?
Yeah, like I said, I've been researching religion and everything after Flat Earth. I know there's flat, there's no doubt about that. Water doesn't lie. Water
seeks its level.
Exactly.
We're looking at a picture right now. It just where the video was. I was going to do some Robert Forsches and then I decided we were on a hangout. But there's the moon over the water with the reflection on it. The water is flat.
Water.
It's flat.
It's flat.
The water's flat. I don't think people think about that enough very much to think that no matter where that moon shines on that water, there'll still be a reflection.
It's just like headlights on a rainy day.
They don't.
Headlights on a rainy day, it looks just like that.
Yeah, and also, like, if the water, I don't care what they say, it would have to have a slight bend on it. If we were on some ball, it wouldn't look like that. The reflection wouldn't look like that. In fact, the moon wouldn't even be there. It'd be somewhere else because we're on a sort of ball going, hang on, we're going Mach 80, way! Here we go, over the bend, over the curve. You know, people don't, all I need to do is stick my umbrella up and I go, I want to go to Richard's for a cup of coffee. I'm there.
I'm there.
Yeah. Stop the plane and get there quicker on my umbrella.
It'd be Karen Poppins.
Yeah, Karen Poppins. I'm popping in for a coffee. But you wouldn't mind that though, would you, Richard, if I popped in for a coffee?
Not at all. I'd show you around. I'd show you some gators.
Oh. Anyway, it's been really good fun catching up with you. I got you again, Richard. I got you again. He didn't like it.
It's okay.
Yeah, just nice to finish the hangout that we, people can see us talking because it just broke up a bit there. But, yeah. So look into what's it called again?
Parthenogenesis.
Yeah, there you go, Genesis. I didn't get the end of the word because it cut off. Yeah, thanks for that.
Parthenogenesis means virgin birth.
That video you sent me, do you reckon I could use a minute of it or something?
I'll check it out and see if you can. I mean, I want you to watch it though, because I haven't finished watching it yet. But
how long is it then?
Interesting. It's one of the better ones I've seen today.
How long is it then?
It's a little over an hour.
Richard. Okay, I'll watch it. Thank you, Richard.
You just have to watch a little bit of the beginning, and you'll understand where I'm coming from.
Just as we're on the phone here, and we're going to end in a minute, obviously, because Richard needs to go because of his Wi-Fi. But what do you have any words to say on this lockdown COVID thing?
It's fake. Hey, after all this hurricane stuff, nobody in Louisiana wears masks anymore. Nobody around. None of them people in my neighborhood wear masks.
Amazing. No one in Trafalgar Square was wearing a mask either today.
Bunch of fake stuff on a pandemic.
Plandemic. You're right about that, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible to put us in this position, but it's even deeper than that. But if you don't get this, you won't get the other. So people are going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's even deeper than that, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Anyway.
Somebody wants to rule the world.
Yeah, they should let the women do it. They should let the women. They should let the women do it, Richard. Let the women do it. Let the women run the world.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's just try it one time. See what happens.
But not with those politics.
And get rid of the military-industrial complex.
I think as people, generally, we're very peaceful, unless people really do wind you up and they know they're doing it. But we're very peaceful people, and thousands stood in Trafalgar Square today in peace until the police got there. It's always someone else has to ruin it for you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone on for another 8 minutes. I'm going to stop this video.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, Richard. Don't go. I'm going to say goodbye to you when I press the button, but just for the video, it's goodbye. Richard, chat room.
Goodbye, all.